Hey everybody, I've recently discovered, don't know how I didn't know before, that May is Mental Health Month, and while I'm getting to it a little bit late because I didn't know this, it's currently May the 4th, in case you're watching this video after that. I'm in time to catch the majority of the month, so what I'm going to do is talk a little about my experiences with mental health, because I make no secret that I am a pretty badly damaged individual. I suffer from depression, low self-esteem among other things, lack of confidence, and many anxiety disorders, which is probably, I'm going to be honest, going to be a large portion of what I'm talking about. Among my anxiety disorders are social anxiety to the point of social phobia, various other phobias, general anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. There's probably something else in there that I've forgotten, but we'll get to that later. Because of all the situations I have got, all the disorders I've got, I'm not going to talk about them all in this one video. I want to spread this out more over the month so it's not so much to take in at once, and I can just basically get more across in its own time. Okay, so I actually did have a whole script written out for this thing, but I can't use that. If I use a script, it just doesn't feel like it comes from me. It just feels too mechanical and rehearsed. The only part of the script I'm going to use is the definition of anxiety, and that is an emotion characterized by feelings of tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes like increased blood pressure, and that's just bollocks. Those are effects of anxiety. That's not anxiety, and that's not an anxiety disorder, because anxiety and anxiety disorders are two different things. Anxiety is what kept our great distant ancestors alive. The flight, fight, freeze response that kept them from being eaten by a saber-toothed cat or whatever the predators were at the time. Whereas an anxiety disorder is basically where that and its effects go into overdrive and overpower your system. Anxiety is basically where your blood pressure goes up, your adrenaline starts to flow, and your mind, because of the effects, sort of sharpens purely on the task of survival. So if you're being attacked, anxiety is basically what keeps you alive. It says, right, okay, can I fight this person and live? If yes, right, let's get ready and fight. If not, leg it. And it's that keeps you going. The adrenaline keeps you running. Anxiety disorder is basically where the mind and the body treats everything like that survival situation. Whether that's social situations, personal situations, whatever it is, the mind sees it as a survival situation and reacts as it thinks accordingly. I'm going to start with general anxiety disorder. That's basically where, as I say, the mind can see literally any situation as survival and react with an anxiety response. The problem is also, as I should have mentioned earlier with disorders, it's not just that same response. It is hyped up. It is overblown. It's not just adrenaline and high blood pressure. It's adrenaline, high blood pressure, hyperventilation, and it takes it to extremes. That's when an anxiety response becomes a panic attack, and that's something I am very familiar with. See, I have actually tried to record this video before, but I'm not happy with how it came out, and I just don't want to use any of that footage except for one bit. The one bit of footage I'm going to use in just a moment is what happened when I was trying to talk about anxiety, and that was that I had a panic attack because I was talking about panic attacks. So I'm going to show you exactly what to me is a mild panic attack. To others, of course, this may be worse than anything they've seen. This may be the lightest they've ever had, but this is what a panic attack looks like. Yeah, I really need to script these things better. This is kind of off the top of the head. I've got bullet points down here, but yeah, they're kind of going everywhere, and yeah, there's that panic attack that's coming on again. Right, okay. Personally, with my anxiety, before I make a video like this, or any video where I am to speak or appear on screen or anything like that, I do generally always have a panic attack before I record, and that kind of goes on throughout the whole video to a degree. I mean, right now my mouth is dry, my heart is racing, the breathing is getting a bit okay, yeah, I am actually having a panic attack in this video now, right? You know, I should stop recording there and come back to it later, but I'm actually going to catch this. They're usually quite short. That's the thing about panic attacks, is they are usually quite short, only a few minutes long each, and that's another thing about them. Anything around can distract you. There's some noise going on down there now, and that's distracting me a bit, and it can be very, very difficult to calm down from a panic attack. You actually, a lot of the time, you just need to kind of ride it out, and it will go soon. But a lot of people misunderstand panic attacks. They think that it's just a case of hyperventilating, a bit of adrenaline going, maybe the heart rate raises a bit, and it's not like that at all. It is a lot worse than that. See, my fingers are actually starting to tingle now because I'm not getting enough oxygen into my system, because I am hyperventilating to a degree. This is a video that I'm not going to bother monetizing, even if I could after YouTube's changes, because I very much doubt that this would meet YouTube's monetization criteria. They take it off pretty quickly because I'm talking about real life subjects here, and they don't seem to like that. That's another sign, really, is that your mind races and a million thoughts come in and just flow out like a lightning bolt, like forked lightning bolt. And another thing that most panic attack sufferers experience is the knowledge that we're about to die. It's not true, obviously, because it's a boost of adrenaline going through the system. It's not likely to kill you. I don't actually know if there are any recorded deaths put down to a panic attack, because worst case scenario is that you don't breathe properly enough and you end up getting lightheaded and fainting, and at that point the body goes, oh, hang on, we've fainted, now we're either dead or returning to normal, and things start to calm down. I'm actually starting to level out from this a bit now. It's still awkward. I can still feel my heart racing, but I can feel I'm able to breathe a bit more normally now. So it is starting to go, and there we go. I'm getting back to a bit more normal now. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a panic attack. Admittedly, for me, that's a somewhat mild one. Occasionally, in fact, often, they are, and not just for me, they are crippling. You are literally useless for anything for 5 minutes, 10 minutes upward, in the case of really, really bad ones. Right. So now you've actually experienced someone having what I suppose I would class as a mild panic attack. That's given you a little more insight about it. So yeah, that is one example of a panic attack. There are other ways it can happen. A lot of the time, if you're looking at someone having a panic attack, you probably wouldn't even notice. However, to the person having the attack, it's very different. You feel like the eyes of the world are on you and everyone is judging you for this happening to you. And one of the biggest deals about a panic attack is that for most people, when you are having a panic attack, you are certain that you are about to die. You are certain, you know that your life is about to end. And yet at the same time, you are at least peripherally aware that you are going to get through it. Though, as I say, that's at the very back of your mind. All you can really think about is what's happening to you. And that is really the hell of the situation. Other people may not notice it. They might if it's a bad one. But it feels like everyone has, and they are judging you for it. Now, generalised anxiety disorder, I've been calling it general anxiety disorder, it's generalised anxiety disorder, is not the same as anxiety, as I've mentioned. I will just clarify here that for the most part I'm going to be referring to this as anxiety, not anxiety disorders, as we all know what the difference is now, and it's just easier to refer to it as everyone understands it as anxiety. Generalised anxiety disorder is where you feel not anxious about specific situations, like some people feel anxious about money or exams or their job. Generalised is when you feel anxious about many, many, many things. I spend almost all my time feeling anxious about something, and that can be anything. At the moment, I am anxious about this video, how it's going to be received, what's going to be taken from it. Is it in fact going to be universally panned and I end up being shunned into the outskirts of existence because of it? I know that's not likely to happen, but these are the worries that can happen in an anxiety sufferer's mind, and you can't just get rid of them by saying that's rubbish, because they're still there and they're niggling away at you. And that is how I feel all the time about almost always more than one thing. And even if I do manage to get rid of one thought, something else will jump in to take its place. I've always got to be worrying about something, whether I want to or not, and believe me, the answer is not. And that is my life pretty much literally all the time. I have sought help for this in the past. I have had cognitive behaviour therapy, which at the time helped, but due to an event which I will go into in another video, the results of that, the positive results of that, were shattered, destroyed in one fell swoop because of someone's thoughtlessness. So yeah, that was a very brief overview of my situation with generalised anxiety disorder. I guarantee you I have missed a lot about my situation, so if there's anything you want to know, please feel free to ask me a question in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer it as honestly as I can. The whole point about this month and what I'm doing is to raise awareness, not only of my situation, but for other people, because there are people out there who don't know about anxiety. So I know the chances of it are, if a fair chance is the size of this screen, my chances of actually helping someone are about that. But there's a gap there, so that means that I might help, and I'm going to take that chance. Anyway, like I say, what I'm going to try and do is keep a video log of my emotional and mental state for the rest of May. As I say, want it to be daily, but like that's going to happen. And I'm going to be going into more detail about my various disorders in their own individual videos. If you've managed to stick through this video for this long, A, I'm impressed, and B, thank you. Keep watching this space to see how the rest of it goes. Catch you next time, guys.